How do? My name is Andrew Hancock and I am a VMware technical architect from Yorkshire in the United Kingdom. I have worked with VMware since their birth in 1998. So that's been a quarter of a century now. I've been working with the VMware product catalogue. Some of my close friends say if you cut Andy in half, it reads VMware like a stick of rock from Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I have now written over 130 articles and recorded over 30 hours of VMware vSphere 7 and 8 videos for Experts Exchange, and received 40 Expert Exchange awards over the last 11 years working with the Expert Exchange community. I am currently the overall #1 point earner in the Hall of Fame. I am honoured to have been accepted into the VMware vExpert program since 2011, and I'm currently a VMware vExpert Pro for the last 4 years. And welcome back to another Hancock's VMware half hour. Now, before I actually basically start today's video, there's just a few personal thanks that I have to give for the Experts Exchange Core 2023 conference that I attended at the beginning of October. So without further ado, I'd like to thank Randy, Thomas, Casey, David, Mason and Carter, and Nate. Do you need any honey, Nate, for that mead? Give us a call. Anyway, and all the other employees behind the scenes that made EE Core 2023. And I mustn't forget the presenters, Sham, Scott, Richard and Patrick, that gave some excellent presentations. If I've forgotten anybody, I do apologise. And the other thing, the Core Conference 2023 would not be the same with the other Experts Exchange VIP experts which make up the community. And you know who you are. I don't think that I have to go through the list. But anyway, so without further ado, let's carry on. And in today's video, which is going to be compact, I'd like to touch on a product that I'd mentioned in the last video that I did on Zerto, which was in our VMware vSphere 7 lab. And today, it just so happens that I had an email turn up in my inbox. Excuse me, still got this 100-day cough. I had an email turn up in my inbox inviting me again to score a limited edition t-shirt. And who doesn't love a t-shirt, a free t-shirt, free swag, by downloading the Runecast analyzer application, which is a bit like Skyline on steroids. And Runecast have been doing this for, correct me if I'm right, it could be 7 or 8 years now. I think they've been doing this. So Runecast came before Skyline, and again, Runecast actually basically provides a lot more information than what Skyline does. It's a subscription-based product, so it is actually going to cost you some budget. It's going to cost you some money. But as this actually basically dropped in my inbox, and I actually basically said that I was going to cover this in the last video that I did, then we're going to deploy today in our VMware vSphere 8 lab. So we've blown the dust off this one and we've re-resurrected this, and we'll continue the lab on vSphere 8 for the time being, so that we can basically get 8 in the lab here to where we've sort of kind of got 7, which is with vSAN. So I've already basically done a bit of the heavy lifting already. So I've already gone off, I've clicked the link. You can see what you need to do really. You download, deploy, run the analysis, send us a code t-shirt. It does actually say that there's only 100 available, so by the time you get to do this, the limited edition t-shirts may have ran out. There are some conditions wrapped around this as well. Home labs are excluded, so that excludes all of us within the VMware vExpert who get NFRs anyway. But I just wanted to show you Runecast, and it seemed appropriate. If the t-shirts are still available, then you can get a free t-shirt as well. So you click deploy, claim my t-shirt. That obviously basically they then put your username and password in, your email address, company, etc. Sign up, and that will basically send you the links to download. And I've already jump started this. I've already downloaded the OVA. I really didn't think that you you wanted me to show you downloading a file from the web. So I've already downloaded a 2.6 gig OVA, and I've already basically started to deploy it, and this is where you find me. Again, in our VMware vCenter Server lab, and I have actually updated vCenter Server today to the latest 8.0 U2. Haven't done the host yet. That's something that I'm going to do later. So I'm sure you've seen this sort of kind of thing before, deploying an OVA. We have a very small environment here. We only have 2 hosts, so I'm going to click next. I'm going to select local data store on our ESXi 002, which is a SSD rated data store. Select valid destination. I thought I had selected valid destination. Just let me pause this a minute. Okay, I think for some strange reason there was just a little bit of a glitch, gremlins in the machine. That compatibility check succeeded was missing previously, and that's why I couldn't continue. But all I did was just go back and next again, and that compatibility check succeeded has appeared. I did actually think at first that I was actually running out of storage, but I've got 230 gig free here. So anyway, followed by next. So I'm going to select our VM network. We haven't done any magical networking things on this particular lab. And I'm probably going to change the, it's basically saying that it wants a static IP address. So let's just click next. So I'm going to give it an IP address. I'm going to need to think about this a little bit. So I'm just going to basically 192.168.182, and I'm going to give it an IP address of 233, which is high up on our lab here, and shouldn't actually basically clash with anything that we've got. Our DNS, I'll give it a host name, so I'll just call it Runecast. Simple stuff. So just going to quickly look through, and I'm going to click finish. And I'm going to go away. I'm going to speed it up in post, and we'll come back when that power's on, and we can have a little look at Runecast and see whether or not we can claim a t-shirt. And I can quickly show you, it's a massive product, but I can quickly show you the sort of kind of reporting information that it does for us. So I'll come back shortly. So the OVA has deployed. My apologies, I keep slipping up and calling it Runecast Analyzer. It's Runecast Analyzer. Runes as in little stones with magic little symbols on that you'll find in Lord of the Rings. So it's Runecast Analyzer. So I've powered on Runecast Analyzer. I've been able to look sneaky because in the background here, whilst you were away, I went off and set up an FQDN in DNS. And I actually basically reserved the IP address 192.168.182.233 in DHCP. So it doesn't actually basically cause me any problems in the lab in future, which I often get into. The next thing I've done then is I've actually basically gone to the runecast.cyrus-consultants.co.uk appliance, which is based on Linux. It's not a surprise these days. And we are currently waiting for the Runecast appliance to initialize. So that's as far as we've got at this moment in time. So after the Runecast appliance has initialized, it will ask you to log into Runecast. And I really like these guys. I like the fact that we've got a nice link to the Runecast user guide, which if you've got internet access basically takes you straight to the Runecast Analyzer user guide. And we can basically connect the system and analyze it by basically finding the user IDs and password. Great thought. Rather than having to Google around and find where the manual is. So I'm just going to cut and paste those entries there, and I'm going to log in for the first time. And if we sort of kind of go back it does actually basically show you some instructions there on your mission should you wish to actually basically try and claim a t-shirt, limited edition t-shirt. It actually basically gives you an example of what you need to do. Follow the instructions, run your first analysis, send us a secret code t-shirt via request license message flow. But anyway, so we're going to basically follow through. So again, Runecast can monitor many platforms, not just VMware vSphere. So we can monitor Linux and Windows, Amazon Web Services, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, Horizon, Kubernetes, NXT, VMware Cloud Director. So we're not just limited to actually basically analyzing our VMware vSphere environment for security and critical updates, and also patches that we need to be applying as well. And also we can pick various different templates to run compliance checks against your environment for security. So we are a VMware environment, VMware vSphere. So I'm going to enter the FQDN, which is vCenter 8A. I'm crossing my fingers here that everything in DNS is working, because it all went a bit screwy. So I can actually basically use, I'm going to use the administrator at vSphere local account, and I'm going to click continue, and hopefully that's going to find the server via the FQDN, and that's the right username and password, and it's going to connect and register with our... Okay, so these are the security profiles that I was actually talking about that you can analyze against. So what's for me in the UK, like there's PCI DSS, there's the NIST standard, GDPR, but in the UK we have an accreditation scheme called Cyber Essentials. So I'm going to use the Cyber Essentials security profile that I want to analyze my environment against here. I'm going to click continue. I'm quite happy with the analysis, so I'm just going to click continue. So if you have a specific security profile that you need to conform against in terms of your credentials or your standards, then I'm sure that you'll find it in that list. So, and I'm going to click analyze now. And that's basically going to sit there going off and basically analyzing. It says analysis in process. So I'm just going to go back to our little send us a secret code t-shirt. So I'm just basically going to now I'm not expecting to get a t-shirt here, by the way, because as I said, this is a lab which is excluded from the free t-shirt swag offer. So if they do send me a free t-shirt, that'd be very nice of them. Send us a t-shirt, request a license in the message flow. So I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and I'm going to have a little look at VMware Trial Active. For more details, click View, Request License, and basically it turned around and said in the request details, just put t-shirt. I am actually going to put my name, Andrew Hancock, company, well that's Cyrus Computer Consultants Limited, phone number, put that in there. I'm going to put t-shirt, and I maybe just basically blag this. Please send me free swag for completing a video for your marketing for Experts Exchange. Thank you. Love, Andy. I do actually basically have an NFR license under the vExpert program. So again, a plug for the vExpert program. You know, if you're actually basically thinking about becoming a VMware vExpert, let me know. I can mentor you, I can help you get into the program, providing that you put in the effort. And one of the benefits, if you become and selected as VMware vExpert, then you're actually entitled to an NFR license for your lab. So I'm going to click request license. Okay, so we've actually done the mission accomplished to request a free t-shirt, which was that email that I got there. But I'm actually going to wait for the analysis to complete, and then we'll actually basically have a little. I'm just going to have a look, see whether or not it's actually detected any issues at the moment. Okay, yeah, okay. So the analysis has actually completed. So you can, if we go to the dashboard, I have actually used the product for more. So here you can actually see the environment is actually analyzed against the Cyber Essentials Security Profile Compliance, but it's also, I suppose you could think of it as having a VMware Consultant or a VMware employee visiting your site and basically advising you on best practices. So your environment is also basically analyzed against best practices. It's analyzed against the Cyber Essentials changes that you would have to make, and you can see here that they are analyzed, shown as critical, major, or medium, or low. So if we just actually have a little look and explore the critical, so you can see here that it's actually complaining. There's a couple of major ones here that's actually saying that we should enable storage IO, and it tells us that it's failed. Use Active Directory for local user authentication. Allow one console session at a time. So all these are best practices. And if we actually basically just look at the critical ones, it does actually sort of kind of tell us that details are not available in trial mode, but it's probably quite likely, I would think, that it's probably telling us there that we're not actually basically on the latest version of VMware vSphere hypervisor, because we're on the first GA release of 8.0. So you can have a little look at your inventory. Now this is a very small inventory because it's only basically got a couple of virtual machines, but you can also see here that it's also basically dragging out and telling us that there's a major issue here because we allow multiple console sessions at a time. We don't limit to one, and the other details are not available because we're obviously in trial mode. When that license comes back, then I can put that in under the trial, or if you've actually basically got a Pucker license, it will actually basically start showing you a lot more details on what the problems are with these particular virtual machines. So if you've got a lot of hosts, a lot of clusters, you've not got a lot of time, again here there's a VMware security advisory that's actually basically telling us that there's a major issue here on this, and it also basically cites the issue ID as well, so you can obviously basically go look at it, and we can drag down and we can actually basically see that it's actually complaining about the version of VMware tools that actually basically exists. So there's huge amounts of information. Now if you were going to actually basically run this across your environment and you've never ever done any sort of best practice, or you're not actually basically comparing your environment against the security profile, initially I think you're probably going to find that you're going to have quite a lot of outstanding issues and then detected issues that I think you're probably going to need to go off and fix. So again, there's the cybersecurity. We've got 12 issues there for cybersecurity, and we've obviously got some best practices as well. So in a nutshell, that is Runecast, not Runcast, but Runecast Analyzer. If you don't have anything like this in your organization, it is well worth, it's not going to cost you anything at all to run that trial for 14 days, and you'll get a trial license for that 14 days, so you will be able to drag out all that information about your current environment. And of course, you know, you can obviously set Runecast to scan your environment every day or every week and actually basically report on it as well. So if you have a cybersecurity department, very, very handy to be able to provide details to them, to feed into them as to how secure your VMware vSphere environment is, hosts, vCenter server, and also all the virtual machines. And that's just VMware. You know, if you are a Azure environment and an AWS environment and Google and VMware, it will analyze your complete estate. So I told you that it's going to be a very quick one today. It was going to be compact. So give it a trial. Let me know what you think. And thanks so much for watching, and good night and goodbye.